Republican voters, and I hear this echoed all the time, are tired of the circular firing squad within our party. And they're saying, can we please talk about Joe Biden and the Democrats and the border and fentanyl and crime and what's happening to our kids and inflation. But I'll definitely defend my record as chair. The RNC, which is a turnout machine, right? We're not the messengers. We don't create the messages for the campaigns. Those are the consultants who get very, very well paid.
Well, one of the things, though, Ronna, that happened was, I think in Virginia, people were wondering where the money was, whether they were going to get some help from the RNC.
A lot of people don't understand fundraising. I can't raise state dollars. I don't get unlimited convention and state dollars. And these were state House and state Senate races. The RNC is a federal committee. So, I mean, come on. Can you just, these are people who come after me all the time. They're on Twitter. They're all the time. And let's see their results. What did they do in Virginia? How much money did they give? But let me stand by something else. In 2022, we took back the House. And the RNC is part of that. We're building the road. And we're launching Bank Your Vote. We've got to do that.
Ronna, we got to roll, but
early.
Thank you for joining us tonight. We have a lot more to get to next.
Joining me now, I can't wait to hear her thoughts on this. Anna Perez, host of Wrong Think Primetime. Okay, Anna. Look, obviously, Ronna McDaniel sucks. I know that. You know that. Everyone knows that. She's a disaster. But don't we deserve this? I mean, we had Harmeet Dillon running for this, and she was not only defeated, she was destroyed. It wasn't even a close election. This is what Republicans want, at least Republican donors. This is what they want, this useless pound of flesh at the RNC.
Well, see, it's ironic because the same message that Republicans have been buying into for far too long is the message that she's pushing, which is, don't keep your eye on me. Don't keep your eye on the people within that are screwing things up for our party. No, look at the Democrats. Look at Joe Biden. Look at how bad the Democratic Party is. We don't want this infighting. Well, actually, we want to get to the bottom of what's going on within our own party if you want us to start focusing on the Democrats. Now, I agree to some extent that obviously, you want to root for your team. You want to save this country. You want to focus on defeating, the enemy, which, of course, are the communists that are destroying this country. However, with that said, I want some accountability here on Ronna. And, it's so obvious, though, at this point that she wants us to forget that it's people like her who are destroying our ability to win. And because of her, of the RNC's spending in strategic areas, because of her influence on, people like Trump and the people he's endorsed as a result of that, we've had a lot of failures. Look at Pennsylvania. Look at what happened with Dr. Oz. Well, I can only imagine the kind of influence that was going on behind closed doors with that. Or even Eric Greitens, for example. Not every Republican is created equal. And I think for so long, Republicans have been asleep at the wheel at that. So we do bear some responsibility for allowing people like Ronna McDaniel to get away with it. But then again, we also can't buy into this message that, we can't point the finger at our own party and say, well, what can we do better? Because she's the perfect example of that.
Let's talk briefly about what we can do better. Our base doesn't turn out sometimes. And I don't blame the Republican base for being deflated given how useless the low-T GOP is. I really do not. But we have issues like, look, the big abortion amendment that just had in Ohio. That's a red state, and it wasn't even close. Just got shattered. Where are all these Republicans supposedly who are mad about Joe Biden, want to fight the culture war, and then a vote comes up and, well, hey, I got to catch the football game.
No, it's absolutely true. And I think a lot of people are disillusioned with what's gone on within our party. And I think that we'd like to see people defend each other better than, the way that the left behaves. Because, the left, they when they do eat their own, it's like we're clapping because it's hilarious. It never happens, right? But here on the right, we do to some degree, we don't have a lot of support for real conservative candidates. And I think we need to start making it very clear that, hey, there are consequences to the way you vote. So, for example, what was going on with, the McCarthy vote and, getting him out of, the speaker chair and, how Matt Gaetz was made out to be this terrible guy. I mean, you had Fox News hosts who were talking nonstop about how whiny Matt Gaetz is, how terrible it is that he's screwing things up. No, that's what America's supposed to look like. That's what a functional country looks like when you start having that fighting on display for everybody to see, when you see that transparency, right? And they didn't like that. But the people there are certain people that control the narrative here, which is, of course, the mainstream media, the major corporations that do. And the people who actually push against the grain and do want to do good things for this country, for the Republican Party specifically, they're demonized. People like Matt Gaetz, people who really are honing in on that conservative message of let's do better, let's reinvigorate the party, let's give us some hope. Because we look at people like McCarthy and we think to ourselves, well, he's always going to be there. He's always going to be, if he's not speaker, he's going to have some sort of influence over that. And yes, we have Mike Johnson now, although I would argue, I think he's going to go along with a lot of the same things McCarthy did. They weren't going to allow McCarthy to be replaced with an actual America First candidate. They weren't going to, or congressman. They were going to replace him with somebody that they can influence, probably they, meaning the Uniparty, as easily as they did with McCarthy. So we have yet to see exactly, but I'm just saying, I think a lot of Republicans are just sick and tired of not actually seeing any change, even though that's what we've been calling for at least since 2015.
Is part of the problem our side's obsession with, quote, nice? I remember as soon as Mike got elected, and look, he is the furthest to the right of any speaker, but as I told everyone, he's going to disappoint you, and one of the main reasons I knew why is as soon as he got appointed speaker, Anna, they started talking about what a good guy he was and how nice he was, and he's very nice to his family. Well, this is not a nice time, and I'm sorry, what this country considers nice guys are not going to be what takes this country back from the little savages who've taken it over.
Well, you're absolutely right. That's why there's people who are, within that are trying to sabotage this, that did try and sabotage the speaker vote. That's why they didn't want somebody else to be there. They didn't want Jim Jordan to be speaker because they want to convince you that a nice guy is better, because a nice guy is going to be malleable. He's going to be easily influenced. He's going to be lower T. Okay. I'm not saying that he necessarily has issues with his testosterone, Mike Johnson, that is. However, what I am saying is that, yeah, he's got that softer, nicer appeal. And I totally agree. And I think a lot of Americans do too. But that is how they control this country. That's how the Uniparty stays in power, because they convince you that nice is better. And then people are like, oh, well, that sounds good. He's got glasses. He seems like he's a smart guy. He loves his family. And unfortunately, they get away with it all too often, because that is exactly the message that they want you to believe in. I don't think that nice is going to fix it, but they're also not going to let a real person who's going to take charge, have any sort of power.
Let's talk about Nikki Haley, as disgusting as that is. Just a brief moment. She's getting quite famous right now for saying this.
When I get into office, the first thing we have to do, social media accounts, social media companies, they have to show America their algorithms. Let us see why they're pushing what they're pushing. The second thing is every person on social media should be verified by their name. That's, first of all, it's a national security threat. When you do that, all of a sudden people have to stand by what they say.
We live in a time where the United States government, especially its FBI, CIA, NSA, has declared war on half the American people, and one of the Republican candidates running for office believes all those people should have their names exposed. Do I have that right?
Well, it sounds about right if you're Nikki Haley, considering she's basically George Bush. I mean, this is the same person who probably does support the Patriot Act, who does support a lot of the things that these neocons have done. She's a neocon. And she's not going to be this anti-establishment free speech advocate. People, honestly, were freaking out over that. I was like, did you think that she thought any differently? Did you think that she thought any differently than the fact that we need more government, than the fact that we need more surveillance? I mean, that is exactly why we fear people like her, why we feel people like her being in power, because they will play just as much of a role in increasing the police state as the left does.